Hello everyone, welcome again to Randolph High School in Randolph, New Jersey. As Champion Athletics, Apex Wrestling School, and Heritage Companies brings you Garden State HSWrestling.com's live coverage of the Randolph Rams facing the Warren Hills Blue Streaks. I am your host, Danny Graham, and joining me soon here on the call is Shane Dunn as we get started right away there. Just no hesitation at all, just a few quick slaps and we're ready to go. So this is our first time on this mat seeing Warren Hills. Of course, we've been here all evening watching the Randolph Rams. As Shane was just opening up here, this is our first time seeing Warren Hills. And we'll give you a little bit of a preview here. Last year, they finished 18-4, and there was a three-way tie in the Skylands Raritan division. And their big thing is they have a hashtag called Keep Scoring. So Warren Hills, you can clearly tell what their motive is for each matchup and what they intend to do.
They've been dominating all day today from what I can tell. 2-0 on the day. 106 or 120 bout here, apologies. Charlie Picone, Warren Hills, versus Aaron Sammy. Third matchup for him and the 120 bout, and a quick pin for Charlie Picone there.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Before you sat down, both opponents were just going right after each other, so they were hitting the floor pretty fast. So it's no wonder that something like that was about to get off to a quick start. But now we're going to move on to the 126.
Sorry about not being here in time. A little bit of a wait for the bathroom there. Chaos of a quad meet, I guess. Today's broadcast presented by Champion Athlete Sports Nutrition, Apex Wrestling School, and the Heritage Companies, the official sponsors of Garden State HSW Wrestling.com's live wrestling coverage, as well as a special thank you to Next Generation Training Center for being the main sponsor of today's quad. Okay,
here we are, 126. Davey Reinhardt from Warren Hills, and for Randolph, once again, we get to see Yash Pulamvalepal.
And Yash has won his first match, lost his second, did incredible in both. A very talented wrestler here, someone who's definitely going to be a name to remember after tonight. And just has done great things so far. I can't wait to see what he does this match. Already a quick 6-0 start for Warren Hills and make it 12-0. Wow. Davey Reinhardt with a 24-second pin. I barely got time to talk about that one. That was wild. Quick pin there for Warren Hills. Today's broadcast is presented by Champion Athlete Sports Nutrition, Apex Wrestling School, and the Heritage Companies, the official sponsors of Garden State HSWrestling.com's live wrestling coverage, as well as a special thank you to Next Generation Training Center for being the main sponsor for today's quad. So how'd the intro go before? And today, we will now see Warren Hills 132-pounder Tyler Redsfield versus Randolph's. In just a second here, I'll give you the name for that one. But we are starting out 132, a 12-0 lead broken out for Warren Hills. Now, just looking to see who's going to take control of this one early. Is it going to be Randolph's 132-pounder or Tyler Redfield? Just a little bit of confusion getting that name for the 132-pounder for Randolph High School. I'll let Danny tell you who the 132-pounder for them is.
Yep, for Randolph we have Nicholas Gregory, and I'm sure Shane just mentioned for Warren Hills, Tyler Redfield.
Yep.
So Tyler Redfield weighed in at 132.2, Nick Gregory 132.6, so this is actually 132 at its finest.
There we go. 113 to go here in the contest, and we've seen a lot of weight disparities, but we have seen the lighter wrestler kind of win a few of those now. And if you haven't checked out our social media, our Instagram, Garden State HS Wrestling, I actually got the pleasure of doing an interview with Hanover Park High School's normally 165-pounder Nando Ott, wrestled up at 175 and got a huge win. That was one of the reasons they won that last meet against Randolph earlier today. If you want to check that out, that was done by me. And if you didn't hear before, I'm your host, Shane Dunn, and I'm with Danny Graham, and this is Garden State High School Wrestling, and this is the third and final meet of our quad meet. It's been a long day, but it's been a great one. I'll say I've had a ton of fun commentating this one. I mean, I know there's days where some days I'm looking at the clock saying how many times we got, how many more of this 14 matches. I could stay here for 7 more meets at teams like this. This has been nothing but incredible wrestling here today.
Yeah, see if anybody's in the area. We phone them in. We see if we can bring them in a little moonlighting.
Absolutely.
More Friday night action. One thing we should mention, too, with Warren Hills, again, we mentioned that there was a three-way tie last year with them in the Skylands Raritan division, but this year they move into the Delaware division within the Skylands Conference, which is a very tough division. They were mentioning that they lost a lot of big hammers from last year, but they do have a very just a very quick scoring team, so that's been the emphasis this year.
I mean, let's look at Randolph for a second. This was the opening to their season much later than most high school wrestling teams in Jersey this year. Randolph has opened up now 0-2 against two tough teams. No discount to Randall, but now possibly facing the toughest team here tonight. They were 1-1 walking in here. They're now 3-1 walking into this one. Casey Wanamaker, in his first year, has been doing incredible things so far. Last year, they were the North 2 Group 3 champion, and as you mentioned, the three-way tie for first in the Skylands Raritan division. But they've already beaten West Morris Wolfpack and Hanover Park Hornets convincingly today. First time we get to see them wrestle today. And we'll see if Randolph can pull off what is honestly would be an upset, or if the Warren Hills Blue Streaks are going to keep doing what they do best and keep scoring. Now a 2-1 advantage here for Tyler Redfield of Warren Hills, currently against Nicholas Gregory, sorry. 4-1 now. Still a 12-0 lead through the first two matches. 2 first period pins there for Warren Hills, even one that I missed as I sprinted back over here. All chaos of a dual meet. How'd the intro go?
The intro went well.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Nope, went off without a hitch. I alluded to the fact that you'd be joining me momentarily. And again, before you sat down, there was already a lot of movement in that opening matchup at the 120 weight class that resulted in that first pin. But we've seen pins so far, but we have something hanging on here that could lead us into probably just a plain old decision to kind of get us away from the pins and maybe a little more steady action, at least something you can see like over the laps with 3 periods.
Absolutely, and we have 40 seconds left in this second period. Still on top is Tyler Redfield in the true 132-pound matchup here today. Yeah, a little bit of a line at the bathroom. Wasn't too happy about it.
Oh, no?
Yeah, they didn't really care that I was a commentator. I'm just joking.
No, you didn't flash your badge or anything?
I got pulled over on the way here, actually.
Why?
Well, my registration's expired, but I told him I was a commentator, big fan of high school wrestling, so Officer Santoro Mendham, I really appreciate you for that one. That was a huge let me off the hook hit there. So I've had a day waiting for things, and commentator got me out with the cops, so did not get me past that line.
Was that on Route 80 or 287? Or?
That was on back roads. I didn't even see him coming.
Okay.
I was thinking about these 4 teams, and he came up. His son's got to be out here. I'm hoping he is. I will call a great match for his son right now. But seriously, appreciate that cop.
Yeah, sure. Cash in a favor, right? A
lot of chaos with dual meets, and I'm completely honest. I love it. I don't mind. It's been a hectic day, and I'm all here for it. But now we're in a hectic third period of our 132 bout. A 4-1 lead for Tyler Redfield of Warren Hills over Nicholas Gregory, who we have seen wrestle 3. This is his 3rd match today. I believe he won the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Might have lost the second one and the last one against the Hanover Park Hornets. So we'll see what he can do here against Tyler Redfield, a name that I'm very familiar with in the past commentating Warren Hills matches. Definitely a stud on this team.
Yeah, Nicholas Gregory, 132 in the previous matchup. He did win that by a pin. .1:15 to go here now in the third. Still a 4-1 lead. This is a tightly contested matchup, and it's been a fun one thus far. You can just see Brian Piccolo, even knowing he's started out season 0-2, he is just as in it as ever, and that is the definition of a great coach. Can't compliment Casey Wanamaker of Warren Hills much more. Both incredible coaches, and I can say all 4 teams here stand out and classy teams, and we've just seen a lot of great wrestling, whether it's a blowout or a close one, which we've been blessed with 2 close ones. Just all around highlights and classic wrestling. And I've been seeing Brian Piccolo be a lot more visceral this matchup because, he knows what his competitor is up against here in Tyler Redfield, last year's District 12 champion and finished 2nd in Region 3. So the fact that he's hanging in there following 2 quick pins by Warren Hills to win the first 2 matchups, if they can get out of here with just a simple decision at his expense, I think that's making progress.
There we go, 25 seconds to go here, and absolutely, if he can escape this pin for the last 30 seconds, it's going to be a great, even in a loss, there's still pros you can take out of everything. And this is a very great fight that Nicholas Gregory's put up. And he's had a great day on the day, and I'm expecting him to have a huge season, only 3 matches deep into his season now. 2 seconds to go, and Tyler Redfield will win 4-1 decision there. Great job by him. Now we'll be heading into the 138 matchup, but before that, I'd like to go over our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Champion Athlete Sports Nutrition. You can visit them at wrestlernutrition.com. Also, Apex Wrestling School with 4 locations in New Jersey and 1 in Manhattan. The Harrington Companies as well. Construction Recycling and Hoffman Landscaping. The Harrington Companies, huge supporters of New Jersey high school wrestling. And also, do you like what you see today? Are you looking for a way to advertise your business to customers? We have limited sponsorship opportunities left for the 2023-24 season. You can sponsor one of our live streams or a local team page. Just click on a blank ad logo and fill out the sponsor form. Let Garden State HSWrestling.com make you the star of the show.
So here we are at 138. John Shadwell, we see him once again from Randolph, and Will Gadara, who weighed in today at 131.4. Usually the 132 guy. He's wrestling up to take on Shadwell, who weighed in at 137.8. So a little bit of a weight disparity here, but everyone's still in the 130 family.
Absolutely, and you'll see in the lower weight classes where it's still a big deal. Every pound matters in wrestling, no matter what weight class you're in, but you can see the difference between a 20-pound disparity against heavyweights and a 20-pound disparity against the lighter weights on the other side. And it's definitely a little bit different. And this one, just 6-pound disparity here. Expecting a little bit of an advantage for Warren Hills is Will Gadara. Or, sorry, not Will Gadara, John Shadwell. And Shadwell had a great first match. And actually the back of Randolph head coach Brian Piccolo's shirt says Shadwell strong. Something I'd love to know more about potentially after this quad meet is over in an interview. I
wonder if it's this Shadwell thing or it might be a family thing. Especially to have it on T-shirts. There may be something maybe more in depth than maybe what we already know.
Absolutely, and I would love to get to know it. And definitely, if you see multiple people on the team and the coach staff wearing it, it's definitely for a great cause or something along that side. But now Randolph finally coming out on top here in this 138 matchup. John Shadwell up 5-0 over Will Gadara of Warren Hills. But still a 15-0 lead on the night for Warren Hills. I mean, I was watching the last one. It was in the 30s before the other team was even able to score a point. So this start of a period for Randolph is huge. Now, we're looking at articles, see if we can figure it out, by the way. Second period, a little behind-the-scenes action in a commentator's life. You're hearing a lot about it today. I mean, this is my second call in after a year layoff, and I've been enjoying every second of it, but I forgot about how hectic this lifestyle is. I mean, and I'm built for it, and I'm loving it. But like I said, 5-0 advantage here for Shadwell. Now another 2 points there. Almost kept him in bounds there. 7-0 lead, 1:48 to go in the second period. Now, Will Gadara has not been even close to a pinnable position here, but Shadwell has still been running through him through the first period and as well as the beginning of this second period. Started out on top. 1:36 to go now.
So we were talking in the previous match about women's wrestling and how it's taken off at the college level. Well, according to the NCAA, as recent as October, right now it appears to be that's going to be on track, women's wrestling, for as a championship sport within the NCAA. That would be the NCAA's 91st sponsored championship.
That'd be incredible. I mean, that would definitely be a fun trivia question. See how many of the 90 sports you could name. But oh my gosh, might be a pin here. Great takedown there.
Oh,
what a pin by John Shadwell of Randolph. And that had to feel good after a frustrating match in the second. And now the third, he gets it. He goes 2-1 on the day. Great job by Shadwell. Great win. Now makes it 15-6. And next up, we'll be heading into the 144 bout. But before that, today's broadcast presented by Champion Athletes Sports Nutrition, Apex Wrestling School, and the Harrington Companies, the official sponsors of Garden State HSWrestling.com's live wrestling coverage, as well as a special thank you to Next Generation Training Center for being the main sponsor for today's quad. Now, the 144-pounder for Warren Hills will be Josh Lee, weighed in just 0.2 over 144. And for the Randolph High School 144-pounder, Connor Wysocki, someone we have seen a whole lot of today, is his senior day, his third match of the day. And we are at the 144, about 15-6. Warren Hills leads Randolph here. I will say, I think this is the closest either school has been with Warren Hills to start, and what a takedown there. Didn't exactly get the throw he was looking for, but still got that top position, and now is looking for a pin position with an awkward cradle there. Could flip him over. We'll see. 1:30 to go, and this has been an electric start here for Josh Lee of Warren Hills. And this one will end with a 113 bout at the end of this meet to end off our quad meet of the day. If you are interested in the West Morris Wolfpack versus the Hanover Park Hornets, that is another stream on our channel, Garden State High School Wrestling, that is being covered by Donald J. Brower and James Clarke right now. They're at the 132 bout currently. It's a 10-0 lead. Not exactly sure which team's in the lead, but go check that out if that's what you're looking for. If you weren't informed before, I am your host, Shane Dunn, accompanied by Danny Graham with me. Now, minute left in the first period, a 2-0 lead for Josh Lee after that beautiful takedown from before. And we'll see what Josh can do from the top position here. Another great cradle attempt, but lost it, but still almost has him down. Josh Lee was also almost pinned in trying to get a pin there. Great crossface that gave him that over the shoulder. Oh my gosh, we might see a pin here quick. That was a great takedown, but great bridge by Connor Wysocki. That's one thing to give to Randolph. No matter which time it was that they were pinned, they have had an incredible defense, and the opposing wrestlers had to fight for every inch of it. Anybody who has beaten Randolph has had to earn it, and that is a testament to Randolph's strength and what I think they can do this season. Incredible wrestling club there. Now a 5-0 advantage for Josh Lee in this first period with 7.6 seconds to go. We'll see if we can see a reversal from Connor Wysocki from bottom, or if Josh Lee will just coast into the second period. And we're off. And there we go. We are heading into the second period. Not exactly sure. It looked like Randolph's Connor Wysocki was pointing to something down on the map. But Josh Lee will start on bottom. Great choice there. And here we are, start of the second period. Josh Lee up 5-0 with an escape here would make it 6-0. But Connor Wysocki's really got a tight grip there and might be going for a takedown here. Would be his first time on offense besides that starting spot before. Now in a tough spot near spladle for, not a spladle exactly, he'd have to rotate all the way around. Might get called for a stalemate here with the positioning. Huge reversal there. Make it 9-0 now for Josh Lee. That was incredible. Now has that left wrist, now trying to turn him over again. This is the third time he's had this move in effect for him. 1:14 to go here in the second period. Josh Lee just firmly in control, has that right hand on the left wrist of Connor Wysocki. Now reaches under there. See, going for a little bit of a throw. A little bit of a lackluster one. Still got him in the air. Not as much intensity. Oh, and maybe an ankle injury. And Josh Lee goes down after the throw, after being on offense. So possibly tweaked it on the throw or tweaked it on the fall, possibly could have landed a piece of Wysocki on him. Getting a second to walk it out. That is that right ankle. It is the one that is not taped up. We will see, but really quick while we have this injury time out. Follow our socials, Facebook, Garden State Wrestling, hswrestling.com, Twitter, Garden State HSW, and Instagram, Garden State Wrestling. And we are back. Josh Lee is right back in it after about only 20, 30 seconds of injury time. He's right back in control, 9-0 lead. You can see he's kind of lifting that ankle off the mat almost, I've noticed, just to start here in the first couple seconds. Might want to get this match over sooner than later just because of that ankle. I mean, everyone here has pretty much wrestled 3 matches. This is a tough spot to be in. You can see, yeah, I don't think he was putting much weight on that right ankle there either. It looked like his left leg was taking the brunt of that throw attempt. Now has that crossface over, grabbing that wrist again. Great wrist control out of all the Warren Hills wrestlers is one thing I've noticed. And you can tell that Josh is trying to keep this on the ground. I mean, not getting too mobile as he was before, spinning around. Gets that left ankle going for an ankle pick here. And we'll be heading into the third period. Josh Lee up 9-0 and still not putting much weight on his right leg. But doesn't appear to be limping. I mean, it's just maybe playing it off a little bit better than it really is, but I can just tell with the weight disparity on his legs which one he's leaning into a little bit more.
As they start third period on neutral, I mean, we have to remind you that Josh Lee was a District 12 champion last year, was the region champion, and entered today undefeated so far in season play. So definitely something that, I mean, I guess if it's your last match of the day and you're having an ankle injury, it's a good time to have it. I mean, you got to compete still. You mean your point total was already high up, so you want to at least maintain that and then, you know, soothe your ankle and to maybe take it into Christmas break and make sure it's all intact.
Speaking of Christmas, if you were a wrestling coach, what are 3 things you're asking Santa for?
If I'm a wrestling coach?
Absolutely.
Well, I think continued good health for all of our athletes.
It's a good first one.
The well-being of those athletes and their families, and maybe a couple of new mats.
I love that. That was a great 3. Mine wouldn't have been as noble, I'll tell you that much. But a huge 2-point takedown here for Josh Lee. Now only 4 points away from a tech. I don't think he'll be going for it. I feel like, again, he's going to try and coast just because that right ankle, even if it's not bugging him too bad, still a little bit scary. Definitely everybody here is exhausted on their third match. Josh Lee, like I said, undefeated. He's due for a big season. You don't want to overwork yourself when you don't necessarily have to. 37 seconds to go here in the third, a 13-0 lead with 2 more points. This would be the first tech on our mat of the day.
He's there, 13-0.
I mean, who knows? Connor Wysocki putting up a really good fight today. Again, can't discount him, and that's why a tech's worth less than a pin if he gets it. Couldn't pin the guy. He cannot pin Connor Wysocki in this match. But now Connor.
He's dragging him back to the center here.
Wow.
Oh, does he have one more in him?
6 seconds to go. It's looking like it's going to end and about as close to a tech as you can get. 13-0
And that's it, 13-0.
Josh Lee, and you can see already, right as the match ends, limping and testing the weight on the ankle. Absolutely was correct on that ankle presumptions I was having before. Was definitely playing it off. I got to give him credit for that. Great job for him and a great win for him. And also you can see Connor Wysocki came over to make sure that Josh is all right and also shaked the Warren Hills Blue Streaks. Coach Hand, love to see it. We'll be heading into the Are we in 144 or 150? Try and figure that out really quick. It will be Randolph Warren Hills Blue Streaks right here. And the 150 for Tyler O'Neill, or the 150 for Warren Hills, Tyler O'Neill, and 150 for Randolph High School, Jack Ellermeyer. Scoreboard is not quite updated with 150. It still says 144 unless I am incorrect, and we are still down. Nope,
yep,
we're at 150. There we go. I'm on the ball today.
Yeah, no, these things happen fast. I think a lot of times when you have like a quick score, you're quick to update that score before you're able to update the weight class, you know, among other things, you know, at least setting it to 2 minutes, because we've seen like the slip of the finger and have it be 20 seconds, and all of a sudden we have a premature buzzer.
Speaking of 20 seconds, we might see a quick pin here out of Tyler O'Neill. Just about 40 seconds in, and wow, what a bridge on the neck of Jack Ellermeyer. He's fighting, and very close call right there. Almost barely had that shoulder down for the count. Tyler O'Neill with a big win just 48 seconds into that matchup. Very athletic bridge from Jack Ellermeyer. Jeez, he almost got out of that. I think he had a few more seconds. He might have been able to go to the next one, but we'll be heading into 157. And for Randolph High School, Luke Faber. Seen him 3 times now today. We'll see who it is for Warren Hills. You know, I gotta give Luke credit. He always comes up to us and tells us just Luke. The other guys want to keep it a secret all the time. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times, like, sometimes coaches can be secretive about that. I've seen that across other sports, like especially in baseball and softball. I mean, my goodness, they hoard those lineups until 5 minutes before first pitch. It's torture because they don't want word getting out. But there's some people that work the games that want to know.
Seriously,
there are fans at home that want to know.
Shout out to Luke for always letting us know who's wrestling. I really do appreciate that. And 157 for Warren Hills, Dominic Dorsch.
So going into some coaching history with, I know I was looking up Casey Wanamaker. He was a wrestling alumnus at King's College out in Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre, not too far from where I work at Susquehanna University, which doesn't have wrestling, unfortunately. But wrestling is very alive and well in that area, as a testament to Penn State, which is about 2 hours from Susquehanna.
Penn State's just a beautiful all-around school at sports, but wrestling especially, and they have just picked up New Jersey talent from their wrestling and just pretty much farmed them for their wrestlers for the last, I think you said before, 10, 15 seasons?
Yeah, just about. I mean, it makes me think back to my my days when I was working at Edinburgh University. They have their Division II, but they have Division I wrestling. And there was some great wrestling that went through there during my time there. Oklahoma State came down and wrestled. Iowa come up and wrestled. But I was able to go to the national championships with them the 2 years I was there. And I got to see Penn State, got to see a lot of these wrestlers. And one that stands out to me in Penn State was Zane Rutherford.
Absolutely.
Who was, oh, my goodness, what a great talent.
25 seconds to go. And, I mean, yeah, I'm amazed that you don't see, like, more praise for New Jersey on how, that was close. He was very well near pinned there. Ref might have just missed it, but the first 2 points here are for Dominic Dorsch over Luke Faber in the last waning seconds of the period. 2 seconds to go. No points awarded to Luke there. Another second probably would have gotten the reversal potentially, but
it's like Warren Hills is picking down to start the second period.
Noticing a pattern there. I've seen, I think all the wrestlers have picked down. I don't think they've had a deferral through the first couple matches. But we are just about halfway through this part of the quad meet, and this is the 3rd out of 3 matches. If you are just in the wrong spot and you are looking for Hanover Park Hornets versus the West Morris Wolfpack, look no further. It's on our YouTube channel, Garden State HS Wrestling, being covered by Donald Brower and James Clarke as we speak. Just check out our channel, and it's one of our lives that are going currently. And right now I am your host, Shane Dunn, accompanied by Danny Graham. And this is Warren Hills versus Randolph, and in particular Dominic Dorsch, the 157-pounder for Warren Hills, versus Luke Faber, the 157-pounder for Randolph. And it's been just an eventful day if you're just joining us. This has been classy wrestling top to bottom. Every match has been better than the last, it almost feels like, and every meet has gotten intensifyingly more crazy towards the end. I mean, we saw, I think, a 39-36 finish. We saw the other one was even closer than that. It ended with a 106 matchup. I mean, this one is definitely our most far and away so far, and it's still anybody's matchup to win. Randolph has came back in their last one, then just lost, came up short, and they did the same thing in the first matchup as well. A great comeback effort, just comes up short. But 40 seconds to go here in the second period. Dorsch still up 4-0, and a stalemate is called. .36 to go here. Dorsch will be on top. And here we go. 4-0 lead, as I mentioned, in the second period here, and a 1-point reversal now for Luke Faber. Now getting him a point on the board, erasing that goose egg. 4-1 now in favor of Dorsch. Single leg right there, and wow, tough spot for Dorsch. Headgear completely over the eyes of Faber. Now an ankle pick from Dorsch. This is a great back and forth little scramble here. Might get called for a stalemate if nobody moves in a little bit. Just wrapping that right leg right around the chest of Faber is Dorsch. And Faber trying to flip it. Ran out of time there. Be heading into the the third period. 4-1 lead Dorsch has over Faber. I think there's only so many hours of commentary you can do without going insane. Start stuttering stuff. I'm out of letters. I gotta throw like a Q or a Z in there at some point.
I mean, it's been one of these days where it seems like every matchup has been a pin. So it's always it always takes us a little off guard when we actually enter a third period.
Absolutely, but this has been a great matchup so far. Still 4-1 lead for Dorsch over Faber, and that ankle trying to keep him on the mat. 1-point reversal there for Faber, now making it 4-2. All of his points responsible for just getting up. Great start for him, and they'll start neutral now. The minute 40 to go. Faber just needs a takedown to tie this one up. Minute and a half to go. And this could be a turning point Randolph really needs. If they can go into an overtime with these guys, or even potentially just win this matchup by a regular decision or a pin, it'd be a big momentum shift. You'd be looking at a sizable lead to come back from, and who knows, maybe we'll see Randolph in the most unexpected territory here pick up their first win of the season. Minute 3 seconds to go now. And if you're Casey Wanamaker, 2 out of 3, and 2.5, honestly, out of 3 parts of the way done with this, how are you feeling about your team standing at 3-1 in the moment, possibly 4-1 if they get a win here? How are you feeling heading into the rest of the season? I mean, we're probably only got a match, if that, before January comes. What do you think Warren Hills can do this season?
Oh, I think from what we've talked about, just kind of looking at where they've been and where they hope to be, they've certainly have shown their prowess here at this event, just far and away, just taking everybody out. But this is kind of the closest match by comparison. So they knew playing the big dogs here in Randolph. They're playing very strong, and they still got a lot to prove. They go into a very competitive division, as we mentioned before, in the Delaware division. So they got to come out, full blazing.
Absolutely, couldn't say it better. But that is the end of the third period. A very tough one for Luke Faber to lose. 4-3 finish. Great match by both wrestlers right there. Dominic Dorsch pulls off the very narrow victory, making it now 28-6 on the night. And now we'll be heading into the 165 bout, if I'm not mistaken. Before that, today's broadcast presented by Champion Athletes Sports Nutrition, Apex Wrestling School, and the Harrington Companies, the official sponsors of Garden State, HSWrestling.com's live wrestling coverage. As well as a special thank you to Next Generation Training Center for being the main sponsor for today's quad.
And here we are at 165. Cole Friedman from Warren Hills takes the mat up against Jason Petrosky from Randolph.
Can't say enough about Petrosky. Had a great showing the last one in his first debut. Did come up just short, if I'm not mistaken, if you could correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but a 2-0 lead for him right out the gates.
Yeah, again, the District 12 winner last year. It was the third place finisher in regionals.
And before he either wrestled up or wrestled down, I can't exactly remember. I remember there was something with his match in the last one we saw, and I believe that was the first piece of action we saw for him in the day, and possibly a quick pin for him here too over the 165 power Cole Friedman. I could be wrong. It might have just been the angle I was looking at, but I believe the one eye on Friedman might be swollen. Could be a black eye. Not sure if you're seeing it, that left eye on him right there from here. Might have a Band-Aid under it, something. Just noticing just noticed that in the last stretch he was in, but a 9-2 start for Petrosky. I think that's what it was. I think he was the one either close to a tech or had a very dominant performance before. This guy just explodes with points. I mean, he's kind of making Warren Hills hashtag reality. This guy just keeps scoring. He's at 12-2. Or sorry, 12-2 in a minute and a half, 90 seconds. This kid's put up 12 points, and he did the same before. He's having a fantastic day so far.
Are we going to see this first technical pin?
I'm not gonna lie. We might.
I mean, 12 points in first. Not even. We still have 15 seconds in this opening period.
And this is what Petrosky does best. I mean, this kid can score points. I haven't seen anybody else in the tournament today that has done the same that wasn't at a weight disparity of some sort. This is as even as it gets, and Petrosky's doing great and gets a pin, buzzer beater pin. What a day for Petrosky. I mean, if you're going home, you got to be happy with that one. Great day for him. And I think Randolph's going to be looking at their 165-pounder, someone that can really win them matches late in the season as well as right now. He could be one of those stars that's coming up, but now we
Don't look now. Tyler Davis retaking the mat for Randolph at 175. His opponent, we are about to get.
And if I am correct here, the only 175-pounder, unless someone's wrestling up, is Silas. I just want to see before I even have to. Nope, I'm correct. Silas Oyarse Santiago. Apologies if I'm saying that name incorrect. But he weighed at 173 today, and Tyler Davis as well, 174. So this is a very close matchup. Last time we saw Tyler Davis take that loss to Nando Ott of Hanover Park in a very close matchup where Nando Ott was actually wrestling up. So hoping to see Tyler Davis put on a show right here. This is his third match of the day now. And Silas, the 175-pounder, wearing definitely a different type of headgear. I've personally never seen it. I mean, I've seen it in the NBA. I've seen it in a lot of other places like that. I would guess it's for some type of either facial structural damage or a nose, even possibly eye, something like that. Have you seen a kind of Jason hockey mask on a headgear before?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's certainly something that I haven't seen, you know, just kind of thinking back to all my time following wrestling, but I'm sure it's something like along the lines of what you were saying, you know, to maybe for some bone, to preserve some bone structure. Yeah, you know, things like cheekbones or nose bones, because it's definitely going over the nose. I think it's more prevalent over the nose than anywhere else.
Absolutely, and I mean, I'll give him credit. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's one of those, you don't see that in sports every day. Everyone kind of becomes the same besides shoes or a little bit extra flashy gear, but a face mask is definitely a way to stick out, and I'm loving it for Silas here.
Right now it's a 4-2 lead in favor of Silas, so we see it's not hampering him.
Not whatsoever. I mean, it must be, I mean, I have asthma. I have trouble breathing everywhere, but it must be very difficult to breathe with that limited space on the nose and mouth for that type of face guard, I'll call it.
You know, I've had a chance to, with this being our third match, just kind of take in the crowd a little bit and just kind of be cognizant of the fact that, you know, it is Christmas time, so we are seeing maybe a lot of people on their homecoming trips because we're seeing a lot of college hoodies out there, and, you know, so it's kind of a good kind of family mixer of sorts, you know, bringing in, you know, obviously these competitors' families, but also some alumni back into Randolph's campus.
I mean, anybody listening that is a family member or any relation or just a fan of wrestling, you know, every Christmas you're subjected to at least 7 hours of a quad meet, no matter what high school they go to. And I mean, if you want to check out tomorrow, we will be at Peaburg at 10 in the morning for their quad. It is Peaburg, North Hardin, Mount Olive, and Delsey. That will be Don Brower there. I'm not entirely sure who the other commentator will be. 1:40 to go now in the second period. It's an 8-2 advantage for Silas. And again, that mask obviously seems to be working, but Tyler Davis is doing his absolute best here. Now, looking to roll him over here. Could be a pin attempt really quick here. Might have him there. He is in all types of trouble, is Tyler Davis.
Right now Tyler is just like hanging on his right shoulder. Now he's up. Now he's on his stomach. So
2 back points
just
there.
avoids the pin there.
Silas now with an 8-point advantage, 10-2 over Tyler Davis. 28-12, Warren Hills leads today. And correct me if I'm wrong. Never mind, I'm wrong. Don't have to correct me. I won't even say it. But now a great cradle attempt here from Silas. Could get this pin. 45 seconds left to go. And Tyler Davis is kind of running out of moves to. It's close.
Yeah.
Still rocking back and forth with him, just trying to rotate him there.
Yeah, Tyler's had some tight matches today, and obviously this one probably the most arduous.
Absolutely. Oh, whoa, close, very near fall there.
Yeah, he's
10 seconds to go. If he can survive into the third period, possibly start on top or neutral, this could be a different wrestling match, but a 10-2 advantage. And again, riding time, I think Silas had 90% of that period, if not more.
Yeah, he might be looking at least 2 minutes of riding time by this point.
Tyler Davis is doing incredible so far. I mean, I don't see Tyler Davis start on top. Could be wrong. I believe his 2 points are from reversals, unless there was a takedown very early. But now, 5 seconds into this third period, Davis is just trying to get something going with that right ankle. Now he's got the right arm under Silas's right arm. Trying a lot of different things here. Now, tight grip around the waist. Will it be a reversal, or will Davis make the most of his opportunity? Goes for a throw. Does not get it fully. Brings him back down to the mat, though. Tried to get it. He had him off the ground for just a second. Both feet then planted back down before he got the slam in. But here are 2 more points for Silas, now at 14-2. And a quick pin there now. And stared right at me. That was terrifying through that mask. That is an easy, not entirely sure what that was with the ref and the hand and everything, but that brings us the end of our 165 bout. Now we'll be heading into 190. And the only 190 rostered wrestler we have for Warren Hills is David Coxer. And 190 for Randolph High School, Andrew Ziedman, unless something changes. And that's David Coxer, checks in for Warren Hills. And now Andrew Ziedman comes back out, his 3rd match of the night, wrestling a little bit up, weighed in at 183 today. David Coxer weighed in at 187. Now going for that left leg is Ziedman. And Danny, if you could remind us all how Ziedman's first 2 matches went, because he's had to wrestle up at the 190 range for most of today, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he's wrestled up for 2 of them, possibly. So how did he do in his first 2?
Well, it's been a long day. but yeah, I think like you said, he's definitely wrestled maybe just outside of his weight class, or wrestled up in some areas, but we've seen him a lot today.
Absolutely. We got about 4 matchups left for you today. It's a 34-12 advantage for Warren Hills, and still, I will say, one of the closer ones this many matches through. I mean, I believe both of the last 2 for Warren Hills were way bigger disparities to start. Warren Hills is just a mean wrestling team. They get it done, and the hashtag keep scoring is a great one for them. But now 2-0 lead. 35 seconds left in the first period for Andrew Ziedman over David Coxer. .25 seconds now to go. Randolph will need 22 points with 4 weights left to go. And Warren Hills actually doesn't have a 285-pounder rostered. That could just be incorrect on my paper, but nothing I can see for now. So maybe we'll even see a forfeit come by the way of Randolph. But it's looking like it's a similar situation. They would need to pin out, and they would win by 2. You can afford, honestly, 1 tech or 2 techs, really. You kind of have to pin out these last 4 matches. That's exactly what Zeman is trying to do right here with David. And as the end of the first period, points don't show enough how well that period went for Andrew Zeidman. Was kind of in control. Again, the riding time that we talk about sometimes definitely led that one. And Casey Wanamaker chooses down for David. Randolph really needs this pin here, and I think Zeidman is a very worthy opponent of getting it. But now that power half, he's really sinking in. He's trying to turn him over here. Might even try it if he can swing that right hip out. He may be able to run him to the side, but now a good crossface there. 1:35 to go here in the second now. Still only a 2-0 lead, but Zeidman has definitely been the aggressor so far. Another 10 seconds tick by, not too much action, but now could be rolling him onto that left back right shoulder. Left shoulder already down. Could he get it? Doing everything he can to try and pull him back, but David is fighting. I mean, gosh, what a more difficult position to be in your 3rd match of the day. That's just tough to out-muscle another person. Can already see that right wrist taped up for Zeidman. I could be incorrect here, but I believe Zeidman also hurt his left ankle in his second match. I just remember the tape on the wrist, if my memory serves me right. If not, oh, wow, a tough spot there for him. But that is a 1-point reversal. We are back in neutral. David finally gets on the board. 35 seconds left in this second period. Now we gotta see Andrew do something here, trying to hopefully get the pin. It's kind of what you need. This will quite literally be over if he doesn't get it. 7-1 now. You can hear Piccolo yelling louder than any other coach on the mats. Put your weight back, still coaching with full heart now. Heading into the third period is a 7-1 lead for Randolph's Andrew Zeidman. Here comes David on top, and we are here to start the third period. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host Shane Dunn, accompanied by Danny Graham, and you are watching Warren Hills versus Randolph. Warren Hills up 34-12. We are in the 190 bout where David Kosker is up 7-1. Or sorry, Andrew Zeidman is over 7-1 against David Kosker. And this one has been a battle so far. And oh, David kind of gets caught on his back at the same time, but might get a meet-winning pin here. 2 points there for David of Warren Hills, now 7-3 with 1:20 to work.
Yeah, just about halfway through the second period, it was just simply a 2-0 lead for Zeidman, and then he was able to get, 3 points here and 2 points there. So
wow, a big throw there by David Koxer of Warren Hills.
And Koxer just again working his way back in. I mean, now he's turned on the Jets here in the third period. 7-3, and could potentially have a few more points here if he can just crack Zeidman a little bit.
You can hear Casey Wanamaker just saying, do it again. Another throw like that is bound to take anybody out of a match. 44 seconds to go here. We're seeing what David can do. This would be a meat-sealing pin for him. This would be gigantic for Warren Hills, going 3-0 on the day, and now would be 3-1 on the season with this pin here. 22 seconds to go here. Now another pin attempt there, but still only 7-3. If Zeidman can survive, it'll be a decision win over Warren Hills, and it'll make it 15-34 Ooh, in a row. Saw that entire right arm go all the way backwards. Great flexibility there, but I get squeamish sometimes, Danny. I won't lie. That was a scary angle right there.
Yeah, no, a lot of times you see, like, how far can those bodies
Randolph does not get the buzzer beater pin. How close was that?
Oh my God, I was
gosh.
looking up at the clock for a moment. I mean, it looked like it hit like 0.3, but it took forever, it seemed like, to count down to 0. I thought maybe another second or two.
Will be a major decision win for Randolph's Ziedman over David. David with an incredible fight from start to finish. What a match from both wrestlers there. The final score did not show how close that quite was. That third period was giant for David. But before we get into our 2:15 bout, today's broadcast presented by Champion Athletes Sports Nutrition, Apex Wrestling School, and the Harrington Companies, the official sponsors of Garden State HSWrestling.com's live wrestling coverage, as well as a special thank you to Next Generation Training Center for being the main sponsor for today's quad. Now, we have the 2:15 matchup. Michael Opie taking on...
No, it's going to be Paul Hamus. It's going to be a forfeit.
You circled that one, you're pointing at that one. That was my bad on just miscommunication, but it's going to be a forfeit.
And we're going to move right on to the heavyweight here. So we have Dean.
Another forfeit right here.
Yeah,
and Casey Wanamaker is already looking up to get the tunnel for, I'm guessing 106 would be where we'll go next. And then we have 113 after that, and that's all we got left. Because we started at 120 while I sprinted over here, correct?
Whose choice is this?
And now 106 matchup here. It will be for Warren Hills, Augie Samretta, and for Randolph, it will be William Mihalko. We saw him in the last deciding matchup against Gabriela Conte.
Yeah,
just lost in the third period.
Yeah, Augie Zamretta, he's a sophomore. He actually last year was third at districts.
And I have commentated for Augie before because I think I said it on stream that he was the coolest name I got to commentate. It's a tough second to Yash, who we believe we saw today 3 times. We saw again here before, but Augie is just a name I can't get behind. I knew right away when I read it. I've been off for a year. I knew that I've called this kid before. Here comes Augie now, the 106, still in his sophomore season, 2-1 on the season this year. And not sure how he did in his first 2 matches. Don't have that directly in front of us, but could either be at 4-1, looking for 5-1, and what a throw there. Didn't fully get him off the ground, but still slammed him down. 18-point disparity now at 2 weights left, and it's looking like Warren Hills is going to walk out of here with a win over Brian Piccolo. But I do want to talk about, Brian Piccolo. I do want to talk about the Randolph Rams for a second, a little bit back and forth. I mean, for some, not every team can start the season 3-1 like Warren Hills is about to. Well, actually be 4-1, sorry, after this. Not everybody can do that. It's not an easy task whatsoever, but the Randolph Rams are going to fall into an 0-3 hole here today, but I feel like it's a speed bump that can really shape this team more than break this team. I feel like down the stretch, this start to the season, this 0-3, smack in the mouth at home, is going to sting for the next couple months. It's going to be a rough one. I think it's only going to help this team. I feel like you'll see teams like Warren Hills, I believe, lost their debut night, or Wes Morris came in here, walked in here fully defeated. Hanover Park only had 1 match, and we've seen everybody do great tonight. I think Randolph just needs to, get past winter break a little bit, and I think they're poised to have a huge January and February.
Yeah, I think the name of the game at this early in the season is volume, so it's great that you're able to host a quad match and play a couple matches on the front end of your schedule, because once you get into the back end, you may see these opponents again when you get to districts and regionals and so forth, but, the name of the game is, repetition.
Absolutely, and Augie with a repetition of the same move, and I love it. Don't break it if it don't fix it if it isn't broken. I am I am on empty with words right now. I'm going to be honest. I need to eat some alphabet soup or something. I'm not sure. Now Augie on top, 7-1, 8-1, 9-1. Didn't know he got 3 points there. It's a 40-22 lead for Warren Hills, as I mentioned before, but we got 1:26 left in this second period. Now, were there any names, especially because Randolph was just right in front of us for the whole day, are there any names that you honestly see coming out and going to districts or regionals or states that we're going to be seeing, like any that you could point out right away?
Well,
it's a tough question.
Yeah, it is really tough. I mean, I think John Shadwell is one that stands out to me. I think he's competed very, very well. I think Luke Faber.
I can agree with
Faber,
that.
I could see that.
I think dark horse has to be Yash. I mean, if you didn't see his first performance, it's up on our live stream from before. It was Wes Morris versus Randolph. Great job. Great victory for him there. Didn't do as well in the second one, but was a fight. And then the third one here today, a quick loss by pin. But I think he's going to be one of those kids that's like, maybe he won't have the best record on the team this season, and maybe he won't go to states. But he's going to be the momentum guy. He's going to be the guy that gets the crowd fired up when they need 6 points in a pin. And I feel like Yash is one of those competitors that's really going to be the future of this team, and I think he's in a perfect spot for it, and I think Brian Piccolo thinks the same thing.
Yeah, I wonder with 113 closing us out today if we will see Julian Rua again. And I'd like to see potentially who the competitor will be from Warren Hill. Looks like it will be, well, we have Braden O'Hearn and Aiden Webb.
And now a 12-1 lead here for Augie. I mean, it's been a year, but nothing's changed seeing Augie wrestle. He is still an incredible top-to-bottom wrestler. Just his technique, his speed, it kills. It's amazing. Like, look at that. Just that reversal off the bat. He hasn't gotten the point yet. And he's neutral. There's a point. Now he's in a scoring position where he could get 2 right here with a takedown. I mean, wow. And that's why Willie Mahalko, you know, the last 106 bout we saw, it didn't end in his favor. He was trying for 2 straight periods just to get those last couple points and couldn't get them. But I really think he's also another incredible wrestler. I mean, he could be another one of those kids that could do very good for this team. And he's at 102.7, so he's still got to grow a little bit to be comfortable at 106. And then we can even see him up into 113 in his career. Another bright horizon for a Randolph wrestler. I mean, I think we're just catching, honestly, like the sight right after a rebuild. I think we got to let this go a few weeks, and I think Randolph is totally going to be in contention for some big things this year, and I think I'm going to see a lot of their singlets come later in the season.
All right, and I wonder, too, now that you go into winter break and everything, again, you know, we'll actually tease a little bit of the upcoming schedule for Randolph. I think that's only fair at this point. So they actually are back in action on the 28th on Thursday when they're at Kittatinny. And it looks like it's going to be a dual match against Kittatinny. Oh, no, it's a tournament. Beg your pardon. So there'll be a Kittatinny regional tournament on Thursday the 28th.
Classic, I believe, is the name of that one. That's an all-day tournament. I may be at that one. And then Thursday, January 4th, the first match of 2024 for them. We have a 7 p.m. match away versus Sparta Township. So that will be their first actual dual meet. It'll be their first one-on-one. It is away. But I feel like the tournament, it's a tough one. The Cougar Classic is by no means necessary easy to get through. But that one-on-one, that first one, might be where they start actually progressing this season, and it'll be huge. And that is our first tech fall of the day for Augie. Wins it 19 to 3 was the official score. So wins by 16 points, a rarer tech fall than most. And if I'm not incorrect, we are heading into our last matchup of the day, the 113 bout. We'll see who Warren Hills throws out there. But I'm almost positive that it's Julian Rua for the 3rd time, and we are going to see Aiden Webb weighing at 113.6 for this one, so he is as close as you can get without being spot on. And Julian Rua, 112.5, so just about a pound separates him, 0.9 pounds separates him. And this is the last match of the night. As we mentioned before, Warren Hills will absolutely be walking out of here with a win. They will be 3-1 on the season now.
Actually, looking over at Mat 1, there's a very, very close matchup, 27-26.
And that is between the West Morris Wolfpack and Hanover Park Hornets. I'm not shocked by that at all. That was two great teams that came to our mat and put on absolute clinics of wrestling facing each other. I mean, if we get out of here early enough, I think I'm popping right over there to see what happens.
It's on the way out anyway.
And if you want to check that out, that is also on our YouTube channel, Garden State HS Wrestling. That one is on one of our lives currently going, is being covered by Donald Brower and James Clarke. And you can see the Hanover Park Hornets take on the West Morris Wolfpack. But now, almost a splayed-looking attempt there. Wasn't quite. And now we're seeing Aiden Webb with the first 2 points here.
Well, sort of to finish up our thought here with looking at Randolph's schedule, definitely Brian Piccolo has kind of compressed a lot of matches over the course of winter break. So this sort of like kicks us off. And then we talk about the Kittatinny Cougar tournament next week. And then they have a dual match at Sparta. No easy task. Then you got some quads and some head-to-head matchups with Morristown and Roxbury. They're going to be hosting another quad match Saturday, January 6th with Caldwell and Kearney and Mendham. So there's a lot of jam-packed stuff here. So definitely there's no lapses, I don't think, in any part of this schedule. So they're going to be very steady and they're going to be very consistent. So I think what we're seeing right now is just them getting into a routine and being consistent.
You also got to remember this was their first official start to their season just about a week later than most other teams. So just knocking off the rust there was big. But a huge pin from the 113-pounder for Warren Hills, Aiden Webb. And that'll do it. It'll be 51-22. Warren Hills defeats the Randolph Rams. And we will be, you can find us on social media, GardenStateHSWrestling.com. Your teams, your counties, your site. You can follow us on social media, GardenStateHSWrestling.com. On Twitter, or now known as X, Garden State HSW, and Garden State Wrestling. And we also have another broadcast going on. It's at the 2:15 matchup right now. It's 27-26 between West Morris and Warren Hills. But that'll do it for the Randolph Rams versus Warren Hills Blue Streaks matchup. And by my side, Danny Graham. Danny, how'd you feel about the overall night? I mean, we talked a lot about Randolph at the end there, so I think we can kind of cut them loose and keep them out of our mouth. But Warren Hills now 4-1 on the season. Casey Wanamaker, a great start to his coaching career in Warren Hills. How are you feeling going into their season after 3 dominant wins?
Well, I think Randolph did a great job inviting teams of such high caliber into this tournament, so I think they succeeded on that front. Bring these teams into their environment, see how they fare, and then see them down the road potentially. But I think for Warren Hills, I think you nailed it. Casey Wanamaker, new to this program, but I think Warren Hills definitely has taken a lot out of this experience. And, they kind of had control of all the matches today, but you could definitely see that with Randolph. Randolph hung in there maybe a little longer. It seemed like when we were looking over on Mat 1, the disparity, 31-3 or something like that.
Absolutely.
But Randolph did give them a run for their money in the beginning. They were able to pull away, but it definitely gives them something to think about.
Now, tomorrow morning, you can catch us at Peaburg at 10 a.m. It'll be a quad meet between Phillipsburg High School, North Iron High School, Mount Olive, and Delsey. Catch that at 10 a.m., covered by Donald Brower. I am your host, Shane Dunn, accompanied by Danny. Danny, incredible job here today.
Oh, thank you.
And if I don't get to see you, and especially you guys, wow.
That's all on camera, too.
It's live. I love it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of live television.
If I don't get to see you and you guys, have a very wonderful holidays. Have a happy new year. And it was a pleasure commentating for you guys. We are Garden State HS Wrestling. Have a great rest of your night.